Hi, welcome to California in Focus. I'm your host, Keegan Kernodle, and joining me today is the Center Square's California reporter, Kenneth Schrupp. Kenneth is here to talk about one of his recent stories on Medi-Cal costs in California. Per illegal immigrant are rising 10 to 15% each year.
Mm-hmm.
Kenneth, can you dive into this a little bit for us?
Yeah, there's a new report from the state-funded legislative analyst office that is finding that the cost of providing Medi-Cal to each illegal immigrant beneficiary specifically is rising 10 to 15% per year. So there's been a lot of hubbub in the state about the cost of this program. The cost of program, this program costs the state a lot more money because it is not reimbursed at all by the federal government, except for emergency room and pregnancy related care, which is reimbursed by the government, and the federal government is not considering cutting. No one's proposed that. What is being proposed, though, are major cuts to federal reimbursement rates for Medi-Cal because of its enrollment of illegal immigrants. Governor Newsom has proposed that he's going to stop new enrollment in Medi-Cal by illegal immigrants starting in January 2026. The state legislature, or at least leaders within the legislature, has said that they don't want to do this and that maintaining healthcare access to every low-income Californian, regardless of immigration status, is one of their priorities. Given that the state has about a $320 billion budget for the year, including its share of federal spending, there probably could be some shifts around to make the funds available for this if this is a priority. Right now, the state estimates there are 1.7 million illegal immigrants enrolled in Medi-Cal. It's a pretty inclusive program that includes benefits that range from sex change operations and hormone therapy to, I believe we're soon going to be adding IVF coverage to the Medi-Cal and model plans for insurance. Even if you're on private insurance, I believe they'll soon be required to cover your IVF treatments. But amid all of the growth in benefits that have to be covered, of course, we're seeing large growth in the costs of providing those growing benefits. That reflected in this is that growth in general fund funding for Medi-Cal for illegal immigrants is estimated to be about $11 billion for 2025-2026. That's the current fiscal year that we're doing the budgeting process for. The interesting thing worth noting is that we face about a $12 billion budget shortfall this year. So it does really seem that the cost of illegal immigrant care is about the same as the cost of the budget shortfall that we face this year.
So you mentioned that Governor Newsom is pausing enrollment and that the prices are still going up because of these added benefits.
So the state of California does spend about $5,000 per illegal immigrant enrolled in Medi-Cal each year. So if we use data that suggests working illegal immigrants in California earn about $13 an hour, that's significantly below the minimum wage, and that's in cash generally. But let's just say that they are reporting 100% of their income. That's about $1,846 in state taxes paid. That's assuming all income is properly reported and taxed, and all of the non-spent, the non-rent post-tax funds that they have left over are spent at businesses that actually collect sales tax. That might not be the case always. But $1,846, that is well short of the $5,000 a year that goes to illegal immigrant care on average. So by charging $100 a month, you are reducing the gap a little bit, but that's still significant costs of about $2,000 a year that are being paid for by other taxpayers.
Traditional Medicaid gets more federal reimbursement, right? This,
yeah,
just
reimbursement rates for Medicaid do vary. There's a statutory minimum of 50% and a statutory maximum of 83% for traditional Medicaid. But there are also different reimbursement rates for different programs. There is a Affordable Care Act Medi-Cal expansion that did come with much higher reimbursement rates. That's what's actually being targeted by federal legislation. That would reduce the match rate from 90% to 80% for this expansion for states that enroll illegal immigrants in Medicaid. That is estimated to probably cost California about $4.4 billion a year, which means that the continued cost of just maintaining the program as it is, general fund cost will be about $11 billion this year. If we lose the $4.4 billion that's proposed in the major budget act that is facing Congress now, the total cost then rises to about $16 billion in real cost to the state because they're losing that federal reimbursement.
I see. Now, what are people saying about this? Like, are there proposed solutions? There's probably some pushback as well, just in general.
Without the premiums, we'll see what actually happens. Again, the state funding situation is very uncertain. As I said, we get about $320 billion as the total state budget, but about a third of that comes from the federal government. And we could see potential funding losses due to the state's sanctuary state policies. We could see funding losses from the transgender athlete policies. That's something that Trump has said he might cut funding on. We just saw the state lose some high-speed rail funding from the Department of Transportation this morning. There's a lot of money that the state does seem like it's going to be losing soon. And as these realities come and we get closer to the budget deadline at the end of this month, we're going to see what gets cut and what doesn't. Let me just share with you a statement from the Senate Minority Leader in California, Brian Jones. It's, costs are going up for the program. Sorry, let me actually read it. Costs are skyrocketing, and now we're staring down a $12 billion price tag for a program that the governor claims to be, quote, pausing. This isn't a pause, it's a runaway train. And once again, California taxpayers are the ones stuck with the bill.
Well, thank you, Kenneth, for breaking this down for us. We will be keeping up on this story and more at thecentersquare.com. Thanks for joining another episode of California in Focus.